With EA Sports dropping the College Football 25 Dynasty Deep Dive, people are buzzing about this game's most anticipated game mode more than ever before. And one of the things that makes Dynasty mode so fun and so great is there's so many different ways you can do it. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the different types of Dynasties you can do and the different ways to have fun with this awesome game mode. Taking over your favorite team is the first thing most people will do when they get their hands on this video game. If your team's not having great success between the white lines, and even if they are, it's still exhilarating to take them over in video game fashion and lead them to the promised land, winning national titles, beating your rivals, and doing everything that you wish your team would do in real life. It's the most basic type of dynasty, and it's the one we're all going to be doing. There's then the inverse of that dynasty. Why don't you just take over your rival and tank them completely? Make them irrelevant. Maybe you're an Auburn fan and you're sick of Alabama always dominating. You could take over the Alabama football program and just make them go 0-12 every season. This is probably not going to be sustainable or fun long term, but it's something that could give you instant gratification and satisfaction right off the bat. The Immersive Dynasty is one where you take over any team and you play things out without changing a single thing about the college football landscape. All the conferences are the same, all the rules are the same, and you don't adjust the roster as much as you can. This is going to be a true Immersive Dynasty that's as true to real life as possible. This is a great way to get yourself hyped up for the college football season, maybe seeing what things you think might happen on the year. I have a feeling this is going to be a very popular way to do things off the bat because it's been so long since we've had a college football video game that having one that's truly immersive with the proper playoff size, the proper conference size, proper players, proper names, everything is going to be extremely satisfying to do. But maybe there's a chance you absolutely hate the current structure of college football, in which case you could do a realigned dynasty where you go through and you change all the conferences and you quote unquote fix the conferences to be whatever you want. You want to resurrect the Big East Conference, go ahead, be my guest. You want to resurrect the Southwest Conference or now the Pac-12, you can go and do that in this version. Do whatever you want, really get creative. This is probably going to be what it's like when people have already had the Immersive Dynasty for a while and they just want to do something a little bit new and shake things up. And that's what's so great about this game is you can do exactly that. Or you could choose to make things a little tougher on yourself. Why not start out as a coordinator? A lot of people are going to choose the easy route of starting as a head coach and just instantly taking over a program. But forcing yourself to start as either an offensive or defensive coordinator, maybe at a lower tier school, you could force yourself to realistically work your way up the ladder and go from a DC at a group of 5 job to maybe a DC at a power 5 job before getting that first head coaching job in the group of 5 ranks. It's a really satisfying way to play and a way I definitely ran a couple dynasties in NCAA 14. It can be a super rewarding way to make yourself earn every single inch you gain in a dynasty. Then there's obviously the Deion Sanders dynasty. I know everybody has thought about this one once they heard the transfer portal will be in this game, but basically you don't even have to be at Colorado. You can be at whatever school you want, but using the transfer portal as almost your exclusive means at acquiring talent in the offseason and just trying to see if you can make it work. Coach Sanders hasn't quite made things work out in real life. Maybe that changes this year. Maybe things work out. But you have an opportunity to almost experiment with your own with one of the newest and most exciting tools in this game to see if you can truly leverage it, just pretty much completely neglecting recruiting and building a roster by acquiring elite talent through the portal. And maybe as an added layer to the immersion of the Dion dynasty, you could create your own children and put them on your team in recruiting or something along those lines. That could be a pretty fun way at just continuing that trend and making it really immersive and truly a Dion dynasty. But what about the group of 5? Why not make a hyper-realistic group of 5 experience? You start as a school in a group of 5 conference. You don't just instantly promote yourself to a bigger conference. Instead, you grind it out like so many group of 5 teams have to do. Making this realistic would mean doing things like putting restrictions on your recruiting. Guess what? Group of 5 teams don't land blue chip recruits very frequently, so maybe limiting yourself to like 1 or 2 4-star recruits in each cycle. Doing this could make things realistically tough and just as tough as they are for those group of 5 schools to actually get the talent level that those bigger schools have, and then not changing your non-conference too much. Maybe you don't force Alabama to travel to play Toledo in a season because In real life, that's not something that happens very often. And instead, if you want to play a power conference team, you have to do it on the road. And I think that's something that could be really rewarding, playing a hyper-realistic group of 5 experience where you start to understand what those teams and programs have to go through. Obviously, there are dozens and dozens of ways to make your Dynasty immersive and as fun as possible for you. I just went over a couple in this video, but let me know down in the comments, what are some Dynasty rules you follow or Dynasty styles that you stick to that make the game as fun as possible for you? Let me know all that stuff down in the comments, and I will see you guys later this week.